idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her, what America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees? I would say to him, if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back.
You know Byron Donalds got to be furious. He's like, y'all dragged me for weeks behind even mentioning Jim Crow. I didn't say nothing about us swinging from trees. Hi, my name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, let's say you were running for president and you had an old friend.
Mark Robinson. But, you know, I heard him coming in on the plane. I was listening, and I said to the people on the plane, watch this. This is Martin Luther King on steroids, okay? Now, I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King times 2.
Somebody told a lie one day.
North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson has repeatedly mocked my father. But it's not the petty insults that bother me. It's his outright rejection of the civil rights movement my father and so many others lived and died for. Robinson called the Greensboro lunch counter protest a ridiculous premise and said so many freedoms were lost. As my father said, nothing is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity.
Man, what is his obsession with Martin Luther King?
Never see the picture of the crowd, the biggest crowd I've ever spoken. I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd, we actually had more people. They said I had 25,000, and he had 1 million people.
Somebody told a lie one day.
I think that's it. Because MLK said somebody told a lie one day, and then Trump saw it as his own personal prophecy.
Donald Trump took a break from taking a break to put on some pants and host a press conference slashed out public meltdown. It goes on. We have a lot to say about it. Here are some initial thoughts with more to come. He hasn't campaigned all week. He isn't going to a single swing state this week, but he sure is mad at Kamala Harris and Tim Walz that they're getting big crowds across the battlegrounds. The facts were hard to track and harder to find in Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago meltdown this afternoon. He lied. He attacked the media. He made excuses for why he's off the campaign trail. We're here to help because his staff clearly isn't. But first, an important reminder on the question Donald didn't answer. How will he vote on the Florida abortion referendum? He's been ducking this question since April. We work to pin down reality so Donald Trump, bless his heart, doesn't have to. Here are the facts. Quote, we had 12,000 and 15,000 people in Wisconsin and Michigan yesterday, respectively, not 2,000. The ABC debate is September 10th, not the 25th. People have spoken to bigger crowds than Donald Trump, Obama, Clinton, literally anyone at Lollapalooza, Coachella, and the World Cup. January 6th was decidedly nothing like MLK's I Have a Dream speech, and Trump did not get a bigger crowd than Martin Luther King Jr. on that historic day. There was famously not a peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election, which Donald Trump fought to overturn, famously. 5 police officers died because of January 6th. Donald Trump said he was off the trail this week because of the Democratic convention. The convention is not happening this week. Trump said they have commercials at a level no one else does. He's being drastically outspent on the airwaves. Governor Josh Shapiro is actually a great guy. Project 2025 author Tom Homan, the father of Trump's cruel child separation policy, is not a person to praise. Jewish people should not have their head examined for not supporting him. That's actually anti-Semitic. Trump said he's not complaining. He is, in fact, very much complaining. It goes on and on. It is the fact check America's been waiting for.
Well, let's say you were running for president and you had an old friend.
Mark Robinson.
And that friend, in an election where you're trying to attract female voters, repeatedly disparaged women.
This idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her, what America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees? I would say to him, if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
Getting ready to get in trouble. Called to be led by men. God sent women out when he was supposed to do, when they had to do that thing. But when it was time to face down Goliath, sent David, not Devita, David.
Everybody knows that abortion in this country is not about protecting the lives of mothers. It is about convenience. It is about abortion on demand. That is exactly what it's about. It's about killing a child because you weren't responsible enough to keep your skirt down.
You know, I've thought about this a lot, Jeff, and, you know, if I had all the power right now, let's say I was the governor, I had a willing legislature, we could pass a bill and say you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason.
Wait a minute. Play that first clip again.
This idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her, what America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees? I would say to him, if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back.
Black people swinging from trees? No, I'm not at the anti-black part yet. Yeah, can we cut that out? Huh? No? Oh, the anti-blackness just permeates so much of what he says, so you can't even cut that out. That'd be like asking to cut off your own skin, which he has asked to be done. Now let's say this friend, during an election, you're running for president and trying to attract female voters, who said he wants to get back to an America where women couldn't vote, that men are called to lead society, not women, to keep your skirt down and no abortion for any reason, then also repeatedly disparage Jews. Now let's say this friend, during an election in which you're trying to attract women, who said he wants to get back to an America where women couldn't vote, that we're called to be led by men and not women, to keep your skirt down and no abortion for any reason, and cast doubt on the Holocaust, also advocated for political violence.
Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity.
Now let's say this friend, who said he wants to get back to an America where women couldn't vote, that we're called to be led by men and not women, to keep their skirts down and no abortion for any reason, cast doubt on the Holocaust, and advocated for political violence, was also accused of fraud.
No, right now. Until they suddenly closed it in April, Mark Robinson and his wife Yolanda operated this business called Balanced Nutrition. What Balanced Nutrition did was administer funds from the federal government to child care centers to pay for meals for low-income kids. Basically, Balanced Nutrition was a middleman. The centers would tell them how many meals they needed, they would claim those funds from the federal government, and turn around and distribute them. But it turns out the Robinsons were skimming the numbers. They were claiming way more money for meals than they actually needed, claiming money for child care centers they didn't even work with, and reporting hugely inflated administrative costs. Like Yolanda Robinson just doubled her own salary one year and billed the taxpayers for it. Remember, this is all taxpayer money. We need to be clear, these are not allegations or accusations. These are proven and documented in an official audit by the North Carolina State Department of Health and Human Services. And the scale of the Robinsons' fraud looks to be way larger than anyone thought. The North Carolina State Department of Health and Human Services did an audit of just 3 months of data of a random sample of just 10 of the Robinsons' clients, and they found $130,000 of fraudulent payments that the Robinsons claimed, and they've been ordered to pay it back. And that was just 10 clients. The Robinsons reported over 100 clients. And it's just from 3 months of data. Balanced Nutrition has been operating since 2015, so that time period is only 3% of the time they've been open. Now, if you're wondering what a full audit of the Robinsons business might look like, it's relevant to note that when the State Health Department announced their audit back in April, the Robinsons immediately closed Balanced Nutrition, stonewalled the department, and lawyered up. We could easily be talking about millions of dollars stolen. We just don't know yet. These guys are scamming a taxpayer-funded program to provide food for low-income children. State investigators also found a bunch of other stuff that was really bad, like Mark and Yolanda put a bunch of random family members on the payroll, which you're not supposed to do. So Mark and Yolanda Robinson are in serious legal trouble here. Embezzling money from the federal government is a real crime that people go to prison for. They might be hoping for a Trump win just so they can stay out of prison. The good news for the Robinsons is that voters and the news media are so hyper-focused on presidential-level drama right now that, incredibly, this is not front-page news yet. Now look, whether you lean liberal, conservative, moderate, nothing at all, most reasonable people can agree that you shouldn't have people like this in political office. Scammers like the Robinsons are why we can't have nice things. We're going to wait and see what happens next, but these guys absolutely deserve what's coming to them.
Now let's say this friend who said he wanted to get back to America where women couldn't vote, that were called to be led by men and not women, to keep their skirts down, no abortion for any reason, cast doubt on the Holocaust, advocated for political violence, and was accused of fraud, was only doing all that in his free time from disparaging black people.
I'm wore out, I'm tired. But here it is. Whenever I think about being wore out, being tired, you know, somebody can get this on their phone and probably end up on Facebook, but I ain't no little weak gymnast that quits with doing this stuff. My generation is cut from a different cloth. Now, I don't quit when the going gets tough. Been plenty of times when I've been in the car, tired, dog tired, turn around and go back home. You see, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm not like somebody out there flipping around on TV on some monkey bars out there trying to get a gold medal for myself.
Wait a minute, I know I didn't hear that right. I didn't hear that right. No, that could. Did he just disparage Simone Biles? He can't turn over in bed. He talking about the greatest gymnast of all time? This is a man who once called the civil rights movement a communist plot to subvert capitalism, and that so many freedoms were lost during the civil rights movement. He doesn't call himself an African American because Africans were primarily responsible for the slave trade. No, you don't call yourself that because we waived you in the racial draft. Robinson wrote that a satanic Marxist had made the movie Black Panther based on a comic book hero created by an agnostic Jew to pull shekels out of black people's pockets. Attack our politicians? Check. Robinson has repeatedly referred to Michelle Obama as a man, claiming she speaks ghetto, and you know how that goes over when black people call other black people ghetto in front of white people. Oh, Candace Owens was proud of that one. Yeah, her edges bowed. Referred to Michelle Obama as a man, claiming she speaks ghetto and Wookiee, and said that she emanates, quote, the stench of human waste. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris is a joke, a nitwit, and a leftist idiot who supports the right to murder the unborn. And you, Mark Robinson, have the 2021 North Carolina Republican Party convention when you told a bunch of white people that black people owed reparations for slavery. Oh, they clapped and they clapped.
Idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her, what America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees? I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back.
There it is. You know Byron Donald's got to be furious. He's like, y'all dragged me for weeks behind even mentioning Jim Crow. I didn't say nothing about us swinging from trees. See, Byron, this is the benefit to being irrelevant. Wasn't nobody paying attention to Mark Robinson. Let's say you're running for president and you had an old friend who said he wants to go back to an America where women couldn't vote, that we're called to be led by men and not women, to keep their skirts down, no abortion for any reason, then also cast doubt on the Holocaust, advocated for political violence, was accused of fraud, called Simone Biles a weak little gymnast, the civil rights movement a communist plot to subvert capitalism, wrote that a satanic Marxist had made Black Panther based on a comic book hero created by an agnostic Jew to pull shekels out of black people's pockets, referred to Michelle Obama as a man, claiming she speaks ghetto and Wookiee, and said that she emanates the stench of human waste, landing the plane with calling Vice President Kamala Harris a joke, a nitwit, and a leftist idiot who supports the right to murder the unborn. Now, would you keep your distance from this friend? You probably would if you were running for president, right? But if you're Donald Trump,
I want to thank a very good man, and he's in there fighting. He's fighting, and we know he's a fighter. The next governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson. Thanks, Mark.
is he even trying to win this? Like he navigating this campaign like the Washington Wizards. This is just as destructive as acknowledging Laura Loomer.
Yeah, Bernie's doing well. The great Laura Loomer. Some of you know Laura. She's a fantastic person, great woman.
This is the man you let speak at your North Carolina rally?
Here it is. My test results. Can you hear my heart beating? Oh, the white man's science is amazing, ain't it? Oh, no. This can't be. It says I'm 102% African with a 2% margin of error. Why, Lord? Why, Lord? Why?
Sorry, that was a wrong speech. That was Mark Robinson a couple years ago. This was him at Trump's Asheville, North Carolina rally.
Folks, I don't have to stand here and tell you what we're up against. You know, I had a conversation with a young lady the other day who told me, she says, you know, I'm voting for you because I like you. But then she said, I'm also voting for Kamala Harris. And I explained to her about a simple word, and that word is this: policy. You see, she thought President Trump is brash and a braggadocio, and I said, hey, hold on a second. We're talking about a man who's willing to sacrifice everything.
Oh, I know. For a woman he barely knows. No? Okay. Oh, I got it. He risked it all to read classified documents on the toilet. No, that wasn't it. For a decent wig?
About a man who's willing to sacrifice everything for the nation that he loves.
Nope, that's definitely not it.
But I told her this. I said, I want you to look at the results that he got in 2016. I said, look at that $1.45 a gallon gas. Look at those full grocery shelves with low prices. Look at the fact that our enemy stood down and cowered when he was in office. By the time I finished that conversation, I had changed her mind.
You changed her mind? You sure she didn't just want to get away from you? Like, all right, whatever you say, weirdo in the median.
Because she understood that it is the policies that this man supports, that I support, that they should be voting for. The economy under Donald Trump was firing on all cylinders. This nation was energy independent. And this nation wanted for nothing. Now under Joe Biden, we see the country suffering. We see gas prices at an all-time high, grocery prices at an all-time high, inflation through the roof. We're suffering because of bad policy. We need to get the good times back. And how do we get the good times back?
Ooh, I got this one. I definitely got this one. Take away women's right to vote.
We re-elect President Donald Trump.
Well, same difference. Still, despite all of this, wanting to go back to an America where women couldn't vote, where we were swinging from trees, society called to be led by men, not women. Keep your skirt down. No abortion for any reason. Cast doubt on the Holocaust. Some people need killing. Accused of fraud. Call Simone Biles a weak little gymnast, the civil rights movement a communist plot to subvert capitalism, and wrote that a satanic Marxist had made the movie Black Panther based on a comic book hero created by an agnostic Jew to pull shekels out of black people's pockets, called Michelle Obama a man, claiming she speaks ghetto and Wookiee and she emanates the stench of human waste, and that Kamala Harris is a joke, a nitwit, and a leftist idiot. Despite all of that,
I am Mark Robinson. I am the first black lieutenant governor of North Carolina. And come November, I plan on being the first black governor of North Carolina.
And that is why I'm troubled. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.
On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
Kamala Harris will never be my president.
Simply put, they are out of their minds.
Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Well, she did it. She accepted the nomination.
And so, on behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother, and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
That was certainly better than the unwritten comedy I have in my head. Thank you all so much for coming out and the 4 days of love and affection. I do not accept the nomination. However, I would like to promote my new line from Fashion Nova. I'll take this one, because we cannot have Trump back.
Donald Trump is like an old boyfriend who you broke up with, but he just won't go away. He has spent the last 4 years spinning the block, trying to get back into a relationship with the American people. Bro, we broke up with you for a reason.
Yo, my man Hakeem killed it. I got a whole video all about he and AOC. The link will be in the description. But back to Kamala.
I believe America cannot truly be prosperous unless Americans are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives, especially on matters of heart and home. But tonight, in America, too many women are not able to make those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom. And now he brags about it. In his words, quote, I did it and I'm proud to have done it, end quote. Well, I'll tell you, over the past 2 years, I've traveled across our country, and women have told me their stories. Husbands and fathers have shared theirs. Stories of women miscarrying in a parking lot, developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children, all because doctors are afraid they may go to jail for caring for their patients. Couples just trying to grow their family, cut off in the middle of IVF treatments. Children who have survived sexual assault, potentially being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. This is what's happening in our country because of Donald Trump. And understand, he is not done. As a part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress. And get this, he plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. Simply put, they are out of their minds.
I can't speak for Indian households, but I've certainly heard that said in that tone many times in the black household.
Simply put, they are out of their minds. And one must ask, why exactly is it that they don't trust women? Well, we trust women. We trust women. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
Oh, I can tell you why they don't trust women. Because they can't be trusted. That is simple projection 101. You know that one partner in a relationship who just swears the other person is cheating, only to find out later just a litany of indiscretions in their phone and an Ashley Madison account? I can tell you why they don't trust women. Because they can't be trusted.
And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors, and its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and child care for our children. America, we are not going back. And we are charting a new way forward.
And just in case you were wondering what back looked like.
And know this, I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. who are rooting for Trump. Because, you know, they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors.
And we got a reminder this very week just how easy it is to manipulate Donald Trump.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
It could have been Barack Hussein Obama, perhaps. We should ask him. Now, he was very nasty last night. I try and be nice to people, you know, but it's a little tough when they get personal. Please, again, remember, please, sir, don't get personal. Talk about policy. Let me ask you about that. We're going to do a free poll. Here are the two questions. Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? Ready? Should I get personal? Should I not get personal? I don't know. My advisors are fired.
It's easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself. And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs.
Yeah, y'all remember the Trump years? Waking up and having to check the internet to see what potential international crisis or conflict we might have gotten ourselves into because he got his feelings hurt. All of the stress and strain that comes with an unrestrained child having access to all the codes and all the buttons. Now think about that, except without having to be reelected.
Fellow Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol, where they assaulted law enforcement officers. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames. And now, for an entirely different set of crimes, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans and separately found liable for committing sexual abuse. And consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens. Consider the power he will have especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution. Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States, not to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself.
I'm old enough to remember when a candidate didn't need to assert their support of the peaceful transfer of power. Now it's partisan. Thanks, MAGA.
With this election, and with this election, our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward. Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self, to hold sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections, to the peaceful transfer of power.
Now, this was a theme of the entire week, this message of uniting America and juxtaposing the vibe of this campaign and this party with the anger and grievance on the right. Pete Buttigieg talked about this as well.
Yes, politics at its worst can be ugly, crushing, demeaning, but it doesn't have to be. At its best, politics can be empowering, uplifting. It can even be a kind of soulcraft. My faith teaches me that the world isn't made up of good people and bad people, but rather that each of us is capable of good and bad things. And I believe leaders matter because of what they bring out in each of us, the good or the bad.
The link to that video will be in the description as well. Now, Harris did have some important mending to do in her own party with respect to Gaza.
President Biden and I are working around the clock because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done. And let me be clear, I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7, including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
Now, I thought that she balanced that extremely well, but the DNC didn't, nor did the Democratic Party. This is the end of a whole week of people complaining why there were no Palestinian voices that were allowed up on stage. Here is what I don't understand. How is it that as a party, you are going to deal with allegations of anti-Semitism coming from the right at the same time as you have people demonstrating your convention all week asserting that you are engaging in supporting a genocide? How do you do both? How do you do both? Democrats, pick a struggle. It's time to pick a struggle. Either decide that you are going to side with affirming the humanity of Palestinians and deal with the blowback coming from the right, which, by the way, won't last all that long once all the Zionists realize just how shallow the love for Jews runs in deep red MAGA country. Or you decide that you're going to go hard body in with Israel and Netanyahu, cut off that stream of criticism you have coming from the right, but that leaves the people that are protesting and the people that are here for Palestinian lives with a very tough choice, considering just how in with Netanyahu and the Zionists Donald Trump has been. You have to give them that choice if that's who they want to elect. But either way, pick a struggle. All right, it's time to land this plane.
So let's get out there. Let's fight for it. Let's get out there. Let's vote for it. And together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all.
Now, technically, the most extraordinary story ever told was the legend of Bagger Vance. But this one is pretty good too. Now, as for Donald Trump,
simply put, they are out of their minds.
Just how much have they lost their minds? Well, this was Trump tweeting all throughout Kamala Harris's speech. Gotta make sure you get those political points from all those head coaches that have grievance with the assistant coach taking all the credit. And by the way, these were how well his people were taking the DNC.
Survivors of crime.
No
to
way.
Remind them, no one should be able to fight alone.
Kamala Harris will never be my president.
Oh, they lost their minds, all right. Even Fox News couldn't take Trump.
Beaten Joe Biden in a Democrat primary. I have no doubt about it. And they made it absolutely impossible for him. They made it that you have to get 60, 70% of the vote just to get in. And you know what?
President.
In the end, the Democrats did the same thing to Joe Biden. They threw Joe Biden out of the party.
And that's
they
why
did
we
the
saw a
same
different
thing
night
as they did to RFK.
Mr. President, thank you so
very
much.
sir.
I don't know if he's gonna make it to the debate. That is, if he even intends to.
I can tell you this. I don't blame Donald Trump for not wanting to debate Kamala. I've been married to a black woman for 40 years, and I ain't won one debate. I'm owing $93,000.
Never interrupt a comedian on a roll. Take us out, DL.
Now, of course, Trump is saying that Kamala isn't black. I guarantee you this. Kamala's been black a lot longer than Trump's been a Republican. And if he keeps sliding in the polls the way he is, the only way he can keep Kamala out of the White House is if he buys it and refuses to rent it to her. Of course, Kamala's getting broad support. They got black men for Kamala. white men for Kamala, Latinos and Asians for Kamala. They even have Republicans for Kamala. Republicans for Kamala. I guess Donald Trump will finally know what it's like when you get left for a younger woman.
Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.
The question before us is, will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision?
She did it again. I bet Trump don't even know that many V words. Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Now, there are two kinds of people: those who avoid confrontation at all costs, and those who, as long as it's not involving them.
So let me remind you of what happened behind closed doors.
Well, you should ask O'Connor about my credibility.
I haven't asked you a question. Okay?
You are?
When I haven't. So when I ask you a question, that's when you answer. Otherwise, I'm talking.
Love to watch it from a safe distance. For those in Group B like myself, you never miss a Jasmine Crockett speech, especially not at the DNC convention.
On November 5th, our nation will hire a president, a commander-in-chief, and leader of the free world. So let's compare their resumes, shall we? One candidate worked at McDonald's while she was in college at an HBCU. HU.
You know? Am I allowed to say that as a non-Howard grad?
The other was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and helped his daddy in the family business. Housing discrimination, that is.
Talk to him! I'm saying talk to him! This really should be brought up far more. I mean, you're not allowed to use the proceeds from criminal activity in a lot of circumstances. Why discrimination?
She became a career prosecutor while he became a career criminal. With 34 felonies, 2 impeachments, and 1 porn star to prove it. Her entire career as an elected district attorney, attorney general, and senator, she's always worked for one client: the people. Meanwhile, he's a 78-year-old, lifelong predator, fraudster, and cheat, known for inciting violent mobs.
Well, when you put it that way, I don't think he could get hired for her college job at McDonald's. But he up for president?
Listen, y'all. He's only looked out for one person: himself.
Go ahead and give me the Donald Trump act, any act that wasn't self-serving. Don't worry, I'll wait.
She's lived the American dream while he's been America's nightmare.
Anytime you see an older black woman cheering you on, you know you on fire. I mean, that's better than 10,000 people cheering for me. I just need one older black lady telling me, "You tell him."
America, America, looking at the two choices before you, who would you hire? Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Well, it depends on what kind of job. Because if I was hiring somebody to scam or to cheat or to disappoint a woman, it would definitely be Trump.
Kamala Harris has a resume. Donald Trump has a rap sheet. She presides over the Senate while he keeps our national secrets next to his thinking chair. Y'all know what I said that other time. In Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, you know we do.
But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, Donald Trump wants to put our 1787 Constitution through his Project 2025 paper shredder and make every day January 6th. Kamala Harris is fighting to fulfill the promise of America. In the real world, this wouldn't even be close. But this election is. Don't make a mistake. We are the underdogs in this fight.
Now, here's the part that I struggle with, because everything that she said was absolutely correct, but really speaks to years of impotence on behalf of the Democratic apparatus. Why is this close? Now, you could also ask me how he even managed to commandeer the entire Republican Party, but where there is no integrity, it cannot be missed.
Some of you know a little bit of my history, some of you don't, so let me tell you. I was a public defender. I did criminal defense as well as practiced civil rights law for almost 2 decades. I know a good prosecutor when I see one.
Oh, this must be one of those special Law and Order episodes where the defense attorneys and the prosecutors get together in the name of justice. Speaking of Law and Order,
in the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. This is the story of Donald Trump. His entire life, Trump has believed he's above the law, that no one would ever dare hold him accountable. He lies, he rips off workers, he sexually abuses women.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
He cheats in business. He cheated on his wife with a porn star and paid her off so the American people wouldn't find out during an election. But in the criminal justice system, ordinary Americans have had the courage to find him accountable, time and time again.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts.
For the first time in history, we have a convicted felon running for president. And to take on this case, we need a president who has spent her life prosecuting perpetrators like Donald Trump. He tried overturning Georgia's free and fair election.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
He's tried to escape any responsibility for instigating the January 6th attack on our Capitol.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you.
And if elected, Trump has promised to overturn laws that would keep him accountable and exact retribution on anyone he considers an enemy, even warning of a bloodbath if he doesn't get his way. So we, the people, have a chance to render our own verdict on Donald Trump. We are the jury he most fears. When we vote this November, we vote for justice, accountability, and the rule of law that keeps America free.
Kamala Harris is the kind of prosecutor we long for in the cases like those of Breonna Taylor. Yeah. She was the first attorney general in the nation to order that her officers wear body cams, and she started the Back on Track program to reduce recidivism.
Hold on, I'm sending this to my Hotep friends, swearing that Kamala locked up the homies. You should too.
Listen, y'all, she did all these things because she genuinely cares about people. She sees each person as just that, a person, not a statistic. She's proven that since the first day she stepped into a courtroom and said what y'all already heard Hillary say. I did not copy out for her speech. I just want y'all to know. She walked into that courtroom and said, Kamala Harris for the people. And she meant that. Many of you know her credentials, but what I love about Kamala Harris goes beyond her resume, is that she sees the humanity in everyone. She's the only candidate in this race who is capable of empathy.
Imagine that. I don't even think anybody on Fox News would dispute that. In fact, they're out there pleading for him to show some on a daily basis. I'm old enough to remember the days where you didn't have to plead with a presidential candidate to exhibit human qualities.
When I first got to Congress, I wasn't sure I made the right decision. The Chaos Caucus couldn't elect a speaker, and the Oversight Committee was unhinged. I was going through all of this when I visited the Vice President's residence for the first time. As I approached Vice President Harris for our official photo, she turned to me and asked, "What's wrong?"
Now, what she's talking about right now is real, because as much as I absolutely love Jasmine Crockett, I do videos on her all the time. I love the way she speaks truth to power. Don't everybody want to sign up to deal with that every single day? Like, imagine you walked into a job and you had to deal with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz on a daily basis. That check ain't enough. It takes a special kind of person and a special kind of strength to want to deal with that. I identify with it myself. I mean, I grew up in DC with a mother that was entrenched in politics. It was all around me. But I became so disillusioned in the early 2000s, you know, the W years, that I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. So it's really kind of random and full circle that I ended up back here. Is this some kind of different dimension? Are those my kids? But I digress. This is about you, Jasmine Crockett.
Mind you, we'd never met. But she saw right through me. She saw the distress. I immediately began crying.
Now, as much as I identify with this was jarring. I mean, seeing Jasmine Crockett cry is like seeing Thanos be defeated, or seeing LeBron's Lakers in the play-in tournament, like watching the Patriots fire Bill Belichick, like watching Jodeci after 2000. I love you, KC. I'm just being honest.
And the most powerful woman in the world wiped my tears and listened. It's so hard for me to tell this story. She then said, among other things, "You are exactly where God wants you. Your district chose you because they believe in you, and so do I." The next month, I went viral for the first of many times to come for hitting Republicans with a dose of their own medicine. That brief but impactful interaction gave me my legislative legs, and I've been running ever since.
Now, as many things as we can credit Kamala Harris with, as deep as her resume happens to be, being responsible for keeping Jasmine Crockett in Congress has to be right up there at the top. That has changed my life more than World Star did. I said did. Yeah, I'm off that now. Yeah, I just go down to U Street.
The question before us is, will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision?
Yeah! Yeah! There it is! There it is! Play it again!
The question before us is, will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision?
She did it again.
If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
I bet Trump don't even know that many V words. And also, he calls them V words.
For a better America or not, I hear alliterations are back in style.
Yeah, because of you.
We deserve better. We deserve a president who can be a bright light in a sea of darkness. One who will pull us forward, because we won't go back. Amanda Gorman said it best. There's always light if only we are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. Kamala Harris showed me that light. And America, when she is our president, together we will shine as that beacon of hope and freedom around the world once more. God bless y'all.
Thank you, Jasmine Crockett. And also, thank you, Kamala Harris. And thank you, Texas, for giving us Jasmine Crockett. And thank you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, for being the Washington Generals in this feud. And I didn't even get to Gwen Walls. If you don't cheer for me like Gwen Walls, I don't want it. There was Raphael Warnock taking everybody to church.
I need my neighbor's children to be okay so that my children will be okay. I need all of my neighbor's children to be okay. Poor inner city children in Atlanta and poor children of Appalachia. I need the poor children of Israel and the poor children of Gaza. I need Israelis and Palestinians. I need those in the Congo, those in Haiti, those in Ukraine. I need American children on both sides of the track to be okay. Because we are all God's children. And so let's stand together. Let's work together. Let's organize together. Let's pray together. Let's stand together. Let's heal the land. God bless you. Keep the faith.
There was Charlie Kirk getting kicked out like it was a church. AOC speech was fantastic. I'm gonna have stuff all week long, so keep it locked to the channel. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reese@reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com. Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. Huh? Elon Musk is interviewing Trump on all Twitter? Nah, I'm out. Nah, I ain't messed with Twitter since KFC posted that chicken fist. They got a whole promo? Okay, now you got my attention, but looks like the European Union has issued a formal letter to Elon Musk demanding that he censor Donald Trump in their upcoming interview. Do you know how big of a liar you gotta be to have an entire block of countries to write a letter? We don't agree on poverty, we don't agree on taxes, we don't agree on nationalism, but we all agree he be lying. Well, this certainly can't get any worse. No, that can't be right. No, that's not. Hey, change the channel. No, just change it. You know what? Blow on it. Blow on it like a Nintendo cartridge. Come on, Twitter. Come on, Twitter. Come on, Twitter. No, you got to hold the select button when you restart it. Yeah, hold the select button. You mean to tell me the tech genius came to Twitter and couldn't get a live stream to work? I just did a live today. Worked fine for me. What you gonna tell me next? The man in charge of SpaceX just had the Cybertruck recalled for the 4th time? And it looks that way on purpose? Tell him to call Dr. Umar, because his lives be fire. By the way, what happened? Oh, I get it. So the attack just happened to coincide with Trump coming back. Are you sure he didn't do it? No, because his stocks stay crashing. And then his real estate empire crashed, his university crashed, his legal defense crashed, his hairline crashed. You know what? That's a good point. That's a fair point, because ever since Elon has been in charge, Twitter's been working like Tommy from Martin. Well, what is it showing right now? Well done. You know what? Why don't y'all try YouTube? Oh, I love it. I bet Ron DeSantis did this. You're not gonna clown my shoes and then turn around and invite Rudy Giuliani to the convention. He be wearing boats. That's probably why he fell. Oh, they got it up now? He is not taking this very well. Well, I wouldn't either, because then I would have to be Donald Trump.
And what I'm going to do, one of the first acts, and this is where I need an Elon Musk, I need somebody that has a lot of strength and courage and smarts. I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states, where states like Iowa, where states like Idaho, you know, not every state will do great, because states that basically aren't doing good now. You look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. He's terrible. He does a terrible job. So he's not going to do great with education. But of the 50, I would bet that 35 would do great, and 15 of them, or 20 of them will be as good as Norway. You know, Norway is considered great. You can name them. I mean, they're so good. Some of these countries are so good. But if you go into some of these really well-run states, we have states that don't know what debt is. We have states that have low taxes, no debt, everybody working. They're really well-run. Sure. And maybe they have certain advantages in terms of location, in terms of, the land or the sun and the water and the whole thing.
At this time, I would like to have a moment of silence for the states with no sun and no water.
You know, there are a lot of advantages that some people have, but if you moved education back to the 50, you'll have some that won't do well, but they'll actually be forced to do better because it'll be a pretty bad situation.
Whatever happened to No States Left Behind? I grew up with that program. It clearly didn't work, though.
To happen with stupid people like Biden. You know, Biden did something with Russia. There was no chance of him ever going in. And when I left, and then after I left, they started forming big armies on the border with Ukraine, right? And I looked at that, and I thought he was doing that because Putin's a good negotiator. I thought he was doing that to negotiate. But then Biden started saying such stupid things. For instance, he said that it can be a NATO country. Now, Russia, for as long as there's been NATO, has said we're never going to agree to that. And we go right up front and say that. And we did things and said things through this president with a low IQ, very low IQ. He had a low IQ 30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have a IQ at all. There's nothing on the board.
That's an old quote. See, nothing used to go that low, but you keep talking, Trump. We'll find something. Here I am thinking that this couldn't get any better than the whole thing not working. But we get that and more insults.
But he has to turn them into important gifts. He has to hammer away, does he not? I mean, that's what he... Don't wander off. Don't call her stupid and all kinds of names. Stay on message.
The winning formula for President Trump is very plain to see. It's fewer insults, more insight.
This is manna from heaven. Keep them talking, Elon. Elon Musk, are you really working for the left?
Because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And then you do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that...
Now, Elon Musk, I know you're going to have to check him because you captain free speech. You going to say something? No, you just going to throw that whole free speech thing in the garbage along with this whole live stream? I love it.
Well, I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love
if it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it.
Wait, what?
And I'd be happy to help out on such a commission.
I'd love
if it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone."
Do you know what a lunatic you have to be to take a compliment and turn that into, "Yeah, and I like the way you destroy people's lives"? You know, you have a lovely smile. Who's your dentist? Oh, I'll send you his info. You have a lovely laugh, especially when you laugh at poor people. Firing people for standing up for workers' rights. How's that Teamsters speech going over from the convention? Looks like the hotel was right. Now I gotta stop us right here. Does Trump sound a little off to you?
She's terrible, but she's getting a free ride. I saw a picture of her on Time Magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was a drawing, and actually, she looked very much like our great First Lady, Melania. She didn't look like Camilla. That's right, but of course she's a beautiful woman, so we'll leave it at that, right?
You mean this picture? You think the Camilla in this picture looks like Melania? No wonder you kept cheating. You don't know people's names or even what they look like. But clearly you have outed your hostility towards Kamala Harris. This ain't nothing but a whole schoolyard crush. Lou Holtz trending? They got Lou Holtz trending.
Well, I don't get the brain man cold.
And Elon was doing an interview, so he couldn't delete the trend like he does everything else he don't like. That is savage. He gonna cry in the car or in Jeffrey's jet. Even AI is dragging Trump. They bored AI. So let me get this straight. So Trump abandons Truth Social, throws all his investors under the bus for this big comeback to Twitter, only to have technical difficulties. Meanwhile, Elon Musk outs himself as working exclusively for the right wing, completely throws all that free speech nonsense in the garbage for technical difficulties. This is amazing. This is even worse than that Don Lemon fiasco.
If you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone. We are all descended from slaves.
Yeah.
Well, all of us.
Yeah.
It's just a question of when. What advantages did it do? What color my skin give me? Well, if we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away.
This is even worse than getting lit up publicly by your daughter, who you claimed in an interview was dead. And I quote, "I understand your new angle is this Western values, Christian family man thing, but it's such a weird choice. You're not a family man. You are a serial adulterer who won't stop effing lying about your own children. You're not a Christian. As far as I'm aware, you've never stepped foot in a church. You're not some bastion for equality and progress. You called Arabic the language of the enemy when I was 6 and have been sued for discrimination multiple times and are from apartheid South Africa. You're not saving the planet. You do not give a F about climate change, and you're lying about multiplanetary civilization as both an excuse and because you want to seem like the CEO from Ready Player One. I would mention the birth rate stuff, but I'm not touching that weird 14 words breeder S with a 10-foot pole. You single-handedly disillusion me with how gullible we are as a species because somehow people keep believing you for reasons that continue to evade me." Yeah, Tech Bros, that's what his daughter thinks, but of course, you know better. You got a Tesla. This is bad. I couldn't think of anything making Elon Musk or Twitter look any worse. However, at the end of the day, they still look better than Trump. Sincere thanks to everybody who's reached out to me and submitted suggestions for videos. Keep them coming. I take submissions for ideas for a video, suggestions for Racist of the Week. If you have something that just troubles you, or you just want to send me a note, because I love getting those notes, go ahead and shoot me an email at reesewaters.com. I also have a newsletter that I send out periodically, so you'll be receiving that as well. You can also sign up on my website, reesewaters.com.